Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum Auf die Fresse WXW Review Podcast in English. I'm in Hamilton, joined by Mike Kilby. Perhaps the only two podcasters at York Hall this past Sunday, not in their own merch. But Mike, how's it going?
That's a very obscure.
Only about 12 people notice.
Yeah, there we go. Just open up with a big dig. Fair enough. Yeah, it was. Today. Yeah, I did not have any of my own merch. I mean, I could have worn my own merch, but I didn't wear it.
Yeah, so this past Saturday, WXW Shortcut for Top, the annual, I don't know, they still say it's the Royal Rumble match for copyright reasons, but everyone knows what it is.
It's the equivalent.
Yeah, and again, we'll go through the show results and a couple of takeaways. We have, I guess, one big story came up before this past weekend. Shortcut for Top was the first time that WXW been on Triller TV, the former Fight TV. And yeah, so basically, I guess now for every show going forward where they are streaming live, they're going to be doing both English and German. And we've been touching on this. Feels like one of our ongoing threads, along with hey, where's Shotgun coming back? They're going to be doing Shotgun. We're going to be doing the German feed live on WXW now, of course, for the paid subscribers. The English feed live for subscribers to Triller TV Plus. But if you have a WXW Now subscription, you'll be getting the post-produced English and German. So, yeah, it's I guess testing new waters. I mean, when we had a look through, they were on, was it Flow Slam back coming to 8 years ago now, December 2016, and yeah, because the members that they were doing 2017-16 Carat Gold was on the Flow Slam schedule. And I remember, I'm sure I've told the story before, but I remember being excited back in the day because this was the first account I went to live, and Flow Slam made the error of advertising as being a live stream. Like this is 2017, so back before
that was the thing.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, are you really streaming this live? Oh no, they'll be getting the post-produced stuff afterwards. So Flow Slam jumped the gun, and obviously, they were there for a while. March 2018, we went to what's now independentwrestling.tv. A couple of shotguns.
Yeah.
I think if you look up on their Facebook, they still got mentions of it. I think it's the post 2018 Couch stuff was up there. And then, of course, WWE Network until a few months ago. So it's not the first time I've been on a worldwide platform, but yeah, Triller's probably the most, I guess, prescient one. If you don't know, said it's the former Fight TV, Triller TV Plus. It's what, $8 a month or $70 a year, unless you've grandfathered from the old plans. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there if you're into indie wrestling. Game Changer Wrestling is, I guess, their flagship. It's got stuff like MLWs when we had the pay-per-views, ICW for, I guess, previously affiliated WWE promotions.
You're supposed to sell it to me.
Okay, well, let me jump to the last bit then, because the other thing they've been breaking into lately is European football, which I completely missed.
Yes.
So if you were so inclined this past weekend and you had enough bandwidth, you could have watched Shortcut for Top live and had games from Feyenoord against Willem II, PSV Eindhoven and Porto all on the same time. Which, so if you're into your Eredivisie and the Liga Portugal, then yeah, that's on there as well. If you've Triller TV Plus, along with like bare knuckle boxing, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's I suppose it's the kind of
thing. It did used to have short track racing from like America for a while. It used to have like a short track stock car racing for a while. But yeah, I found Triller's great on WrestleMania weekend when it's got the collective and you can get it for free. I did watch a bit of I think Boa Vista versus Gil Vicente over WrestleMania weekend because I didn't want to watch the GCW show in the daytime, so I watched that instead.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of like, I'm old enough to remember when, following WrestleMania weekend stuff, cost you a thick end of 200 quid, thanks to the
yeah,
shitty exchange rates.
yeah,
The fact we get that in, I mean, if you're a GCW fan, or, I mean, even like the pay-per-views where you have some, not GCW, but stuff like, okay, they're not exactly best of health right now, but AAA. But Triple Manias go from pay-per-view onto Triller TV Plus. Pretty much anything they do on pay-per-view eventually falls back onto Triller TV Plus. So if it's just for, I'd say generic wrestling, but worldwide stuff, and you're not really that fussed about whether it's live, it's a hell of a catalogue on there. But um, we have a couple of quotes. So Felix Kohlenberg, the usual, we're super excited about joining Triller TV. It's the right time for WXW to step up and show the wrestling world what European wrestling is all about. Tass, plugging Shock for top being the most unpredictable match of the year. With Trevor Lee versus Lawrence Strowman and Mike Loke against Idle Blanc, two title matches on the program that'll thrill us all. And Mark Shuttle, our video teams work tirelessly to provide fans with some of the highest production standards in indie wrestling today. I mean, we've praised WXW for saying
yeah,
forever about that, and I would say, unfortunately, the English feed, because I was watching with some non-wrestling friends this past Saturday, the English feed
yeah,
did such a little bit, but otherwise, when it was up, it was perfectly fine. There was no like hitches. It was one of those either on or it's off kind of things. But yeah, so WXW, if you want live English, it'll be on former Fight TV. I suspect, we have said all events. So Tag Festival in less than 2 months. God, that's scary when you word it like that. I'll be on there, everything apart from in a circle. So yeah, be interesting to get some fresh eyes and see, what this actually spins up into.
yeah. And the other thing is that obviously we don't know what they are doing Mania weekend, but I mean it does actually potentially offer the opportunity if they can get something in that Mania week, um, something live, they could actually get a really big increase because everybody gets the sample, everyone gets the free trial over or just the month. So if they can get something around Mania weekend next year, not necessarily even in America, but even if they just have it domestically, I think there's a good chance they could do quite well on there.
And again, it's more availability. Now Norway also has the old High Spots network before Pivot Share folding. High Spots has
Yeah,
actually carried that over, but it's like, I think when I looked the other day, it's like maybe 2017, 2018. It's like Tag Festival and Carrot stuff. Not in depth at all. So again, we'll see,
yeah,
if they do even port like the back catalogue as well, because I know is it ICW in North. We do the ICW live, North's on demand, but they also do what they call the rebroadcast. So it'll be like ye old show, but they just put on there, so you can stream it live, when it's broadcast, but then it's in part of the catalogue. So we'll see how that goes. But as I said, the first show that was part of the Triller TV deal was Shortcut of Top this past Saturday, back in Oberhausen for the first time since Lawrence Roman won the Unified World Wrestling title. First defense, of course, against Trevor Lee. And I'm just looking to see if they announced a crowd 551, which pretty decent for. Was it Turbine Hall 1 or 2 ran over the weekend? Turbine
it
Hall
was in T2.
in T2. So it's about where you're getting T2. And looking at the forecast, it looked like it was well, you could see in the matches, absolutely sweltering that day. But maybe not quite as bad as that year they set the fire alarms off during the show, which, if that's stopped, then we're going to have problems. But a pretty stacked card. Everything on the main show, apart from the main event, obviously was the title match, which one of our non-wrestling fan friends noted was, if the show just felt stacked like everyone's for title. There's that whole thing of, well, if
Yeah,
everything's important, nothing's important, which I kind of got, but
yeah.
again, no, without going into the other,
Interesting way of looking at it. Yeah,
well, without going to the other dead horse we've beaten, if you're only running one show a month, you kind of want to get your titles defended.
yeah,
If you're not running that often, you've got to do something to hit the story beat. But pre-show match, we had Youngblood. Uh, I don't expect WXW debut, but certainly their return since Yusuf just came back from his collarbone injury against another returning team of the Big Bucks, Alex Duke and Norman Harris, of course. they tried doing this match over Carrot Weekend, but injuries meant that in each one was deputizing for Yuto Nakashima, and different result this time. Oscar and Yuto getting a win in just under 10 minutes. It was a pretty fine match, but the one thing that really stuck out to me, and it's absolutely nobody's fault because injuries, kind of took away this time. The WWE fan base really loves Oscar. There's no connection at all yet with Yuto, and I think it's the kind of thing that we're going to mention. They're going to be part of a tag festival, so hopefully something builds up from there. But it's absolutely one of those things where, yeah, just absence has meant, the stop nature of it has meant that Youngblood really hasn't hit the ground running at all in WXW compared to, say, RevPro.
Yeah, they feel more of a, we're lucky enough to sort of experience both sort of worlds, and yeah, RevPro seems to have RevPro, which traditionally I don't think has ever handled tag teams well. They seem to be doing quite well with Youngblood, even if I still feel they're circling the drain a little bit there. They certainly feel a bit of a bigger deal here than they do in Germany. Yeah.
Let's see how that goes over Tag Festival weekend and or whatever they do in Bielefeld. But main show we started with, actually before the show was announced on Twitter in the building as well, that Matt Cardona would face the winner of the opening match, which was Ahura against Levaniel. Now, all the different threads going in, Ahura on the last Shotgun vlog had been teasing he would defend the Shotgun belt against Cardona, but of course he's not the Shotgun champion, so that means he'd have to win the belt. Had a time limit of 15 minutes, and about 90 seconds left. Levaniel just punched at Ahura in the nuts, so Ahura wins by DQ, doesn't win the belt. As for the match, it's fine. I think for Levaniel, they're doing the thing where he's not really in any danger of winning, shall we say, but when he's realizing he's in danger of losing or not riding off a time limit, that's when he's going into the bag of dirty tricks. The post matches were, I suppose, where all the big story came. So, Levaniel scarfed the belt, who bragged about, well, I've got my main event match with Matt Cardona. Then Levaniel returned, well, I can give you a bigger match. I can give you your title match again. And as we expected, that's kind of being turned into a freeway for the belt. So that'll be closing out night one of Tag Festival in Oberhausen next, about 6 weeks. So yeah, and it would not surprise me if Matt Cardona left that belt because he's coming back from injury and he's slowly starting to hoover belts again.
Okay, cool. Anyway.
Well,
I mean, in fairness, the Shotgun Invitation, the Shotgun World Tour that was done 2017, that was quite successful. 2016, 2017, it was successful. I think it did, at least in the sort of early. I think that was done a lot with IWTV, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was IWTV.
They toured a lot of promotion.
It was a lot
or whatever
there, but and WXW got the footage, so that went up on WXW now 1 or 2, whatever the version was back then.
Yeah.
So they did, because remember it was being done as the Shotgun title in the US thread, which for obvious reasons now being deleted from their server. But yeah, I mean, I've seen worse ideas, if only because we've got the European belt now, so it's not like you're just leaving yourself with one singles belt on the show. But yeah,
I mean, if you're not running shows,
yeah, and that schedule's pretty slack. I mean, going with Cardona, so I'm just counting belts from, I don't want to say real promotions, but no, all due respect, the Wrestling Showcase, Premier Wrestling Network, I don't think that exists anymore. He's had that for coming to 2 years, and they haven't run a show for a while. The Excite champion out of New York, but he's that's been held for a year and had no defenses, so maybe that's one we strike from record. He has won the first wrestling belt this past weekend. So even though he's not clear to wrestle, he is picking up belts, of course, his self-anointed internet belt. So maybe that's the start for another go around from where he's just hoovering up belts, and yeah, he ends up having to have awkward conversations with airport security staffs all the time.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, at least he could lose it to someone in America as well, and just come straight back, can't it?
Yeah, same kind of thing we're expecting with first Avery Everett last year, but for some reason never quite parlayed into anything.
There we go.
Yeah, so looking at Avery Everett's tour of the US last year, when she was defending the belt, it was really against a lot of the same names. So looking at Ariel, the other Portuguese women's wrestler, which I guess very few people know about unless you follow the Northeast Indies. Alicia Edwards, Becca, I think she had a lot of defenses against her. Killer Kelly for Limitless
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, it was one of those that really didn't come out the way we'd have, I guess, wanted. Which yeah, I mean it is what it is, but yeah, see if Matt Cardona gets, he'll be on every GCW show you'd expect. So I'll get a bit more heft behind it you'd expect, but yeah, we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah.
Moving on, we had the tag titles being defended. So it was Cash and Hector successfully beating Nick Schreier and Mike DeVecchio. Again, I thought this was a pretty decent match, but so this one had the stipulation of winner goes into Tag Festival, losers would not, which, well, yeah, because that means there's only Bielefeld left, and I doubt there's going to be tag title defense there. I think this one kind of suffered from Nick and Mike being again a makeshift team.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was I thought it was decent, but it really did have the challenge of the month vibe to it.
Yeah, I think that it was a bit of a shame that Mike D and Nick sort of aren't around Tagfest, because I feel like there was a lot of legs in, the two being sort of a, Nick being the one sort of always improving with Mike. But I think the issue is when you don't have the the shows, which again it comes back to the same thing we say every third sentence, it seems. When you don't have the shows, it's very difficult to sort of build that story, and then you end up kind of maybe hot footing it through Tagfest weekend, and if you're going to have it build over the course of a weekend, you've got to put him in the semi-finals, sort of, if you want to get them, if you don't want them to win. So it does sort of paint them to a slight corner, really, doesn't it? But
And was
it's a bit of a shame, but it does free. Sorry, yeah, it does free Mike D up, I suppose, for other things as well. So
I mean, Mike D is going to be part of Tag Festival weekend. He has got the TLC match with Gringo Loco, so not like he's not going to be there. But yeah, it's one of those where you kind of feel, this maybe could have been like I don't want to say a B show defense or anything like that, but this really felt like was a placeholder kind of thing just to tide everyone over. But next we had the European title defense, Igel Blanc's first defense of the title against Michael Oku. This was rematch of sorts from Frankfurt just over a year ago. It's again pretty decent match. I think main event aside, the longest match of the night, which I think is a bit of a theme we're seeing with Michael Oku in WXW. But I thought it was, I'd say probably one of the best matches of the night, or particularly two main title matches. One thing I will say though, again, it's suffered with that whole thing of, I really don't think people thought Oku was going to, dethrone Igel Blanc at the first defense. And I think that's the kind of thing we saw, with Lawrence Roman later on is, I don't say, placeholders challenges, but it also didn't feel like, many people really bought that was going to be title change because it was the first one, because, didn't really have any of the build up. Still a really good match, but the problem when your entire card is title matches, if you can't get people on board and buying that there's going to be a title change, that really does hamper the crowd's enjoyment, especially when it's blisteringly hot as well.
yeah, I agree with that. I do agree.
Then up next, Lawrence Roman over Trevor Lee to retain the unified title again, as you'd expect. I kind of thought it was a decent match, but we'll touch on this after the shortcut roundup. Tony, it's like a Roman does feel a lot like a lame duck champion at this point. Like like you think
Yeah,
he won Carrot and the delayed-ish turn, leaving Amboss. And since he's left Amboss, it feels like there's just a lot of meat missing from the bones in terms of character. Like when he was in Amboss, he was the Pitbull. He was the the undersized member of the squad who his bark was was worse than his bite kind of thing. Um, since he left Amboss, his character's what? He's champion. And it feels like
he's also turned on Amboss, and he's not received any comeuppance. Not that, as a good person you shouldn't get comeuppance, but there's been no bite back from Icarus. There's been no bite back. Well, obviously, with Droyske's kind of walked away, at least for now. There was a few vignettes on this show, but yeah, there's never been any sort of consequences for him turning on the bad gang, really, effectively, is there?
Yeah, I mean, we did have in Frankfurt, where, they had that 6-man tag after Icarus joined High Performer Ltd, which we'll get to. But yeah, even then, that just feels like it's, I don't know. And, again, going back to not running the shows, it feels like we're getting the key chapter points, but we're not getting, like, there's a lot of the beats underneath which are being like, we're getting the notes, but
the lines are being drawn, but it's not being coloured in.
Yeah, we're missing a lot of music between the notes. It's like, so you can draw your own head canon what's going on, where things would go, but yeah, it just feels like it's very much we're hopping from bouncing beat to beat, and if you don't have your own head canon, it's kind of lacking. But talking about Dreisker, so they did have a vignette. The old leather jacket with the Avalanche logos back, and so I would suspect Avalanche is going to be making a return. What I would say is the only show he missed was the Wrestling European Championships last month. So in a weird way, we're looking 2.5 months since he lost the belt, but only one show because of the way the shows have fallen. So it's that real weird thing of he's been gone a long while, but really it's only one show. But I mean, it'd be interesting to see what he's back, because he's just been the monster heel, for one better word, in WXW. I don't see, like, does he come back as a good guy? Does he come back as a second commando? How this portrays, because I think a lot of it's going to depend on what happens as a result of the shortcut match, which we'll just get the finale. We can put the flesh on the meat and the bones after this. So, final three in the shortcut for top match was Oscar, it was Leah Bloom, and I'm blanking.
Yeah.
And Igel Blanc was final three.
Oh.
And then you had the number 30 coming out. And I was listening to the German feed at this point, which had Emil Villa and Robin Christopher Vorwerk on. Vorwerk had abandoned commentary about 3 or 4 entries to go, so it was a bit of a hint that something was going on. And then lights go out. You get the Robin Christopher Vorwerk proudly presents, and then he's out yapping away, and he's got another new signing. It's worse for Nottingham Forest last season. It's Peter Tahani, and everyone's in just absolute shock of, oh my god, what's going on? And I don't know if this was trying to do too much in too short space of time. We had Icarus, you had Anil Marek, who were both in the match early and got eliminated, and Joseph Fennick Jr., who I think was his first appearance in months. He missed a few shows of injury, but hasn't been around for a while. Hit the ring, threw out Oscar, threw out Aaliyah, threw out Igel Blanc, which meant only one person left in the match. The second Tahani got in the ring, he won the match by default, the sweetest 2 words in the English language. And yeah, there's one photo of him with Beauty in Combat and WXW posted of Leah Bloom just absolutely blowing his lid, like being held back. You just seem like just absolutely blowing his stack at, because of course
I think that's one of the best wrestling photographs I've seen in years.
Yes, like it's not the the dreaded NXT face. I mean, yeah, and you've got the just last month, you had and was it you had the European Championships, Bloom beaten Tahani, and all that coming through, and Tahani did the, I don't say the moping, but the whole I should have been better, but I wasn't, and really wondering what's next, because he wasn't even announced for shortcut, which I completely missed. No, so that was a distraction that I completely didn't catch. But I mean, Bloom and Tahani have had a bit of a rivalry.
Yeah.
Through the past. Leipzig in April. Tahani won. I think previous to that, maybe right in thinking Bloom hadn't won a single match against him before Frankfurt. Just scrolling through now. So yeah, the inner circle. Yeah, the inner circle. Well, the inner circle wasn't an inner circle before Cabot 2022, the first year back. They did Tahani and Bloom. That was the first time meeting. The last festival show in Essen. That's the first one. Then non-taped show in Erfurt, Leipzig in April, and then Frankfurt's the first time Bloom had beaten them. And then so you get that. And it had never been like
It's still a fresh match, though.
it's still a fresh match, and they had been teaming on and off as well, which I think is the key bit.
Yeah.
So there's a nice easy feud to get into. But so yeah, Peach Tahani win shortcut at the top. De facto number one contender you would expect. He'll be doing the rematch at Tag Festival weekend, the Saturday night. And boom, you've got a Carrot main event rematch. But I don't think any of us saw coming away it's planned out.
Yeah, it's been it was a very and I think a good thing about Shortcut is it does offer a bit of a hard reset for the winter. It's a good time to sort of bring something in like this. But yeah, I thought this was a very well done show in general. I think it's one of the best non-weekender shows I think for a long time.
Yeah.
I do agree with your friend's assessment of too many title matches. I do 100% agree with that. But I think can't really fault it. I don't think there was anything of any low quality in there.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
it had its place. When it wasn't a match was thrown in there just for the sake of, we've got to do a title defense. They were all in the place, even if I reckon they're all like placeholder matches, for one better word. But
there was a minute where there was never a match where I was sort of looking at my watch either. I think everything went the right length.
Yeah.
Which was good, which is always good. I do think Battle Royal shows can actually benefit from that because you have to have an hour of the show be the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
But that's personal preference. Yeah, I do like this shorter matches. This one.
So looking at, we spoke last time, who can be the surprise returns. I guess really the only two surprises. One was Shaw Samuels back, I think it was last in 2019. Had the unfortunate final on-screen appearance with Carsten Beck, Pile Drivers back then. The other one, and this is big, I go and see big WWE show, I can do it energy. Rainer Ringer doing a Marcus Weiss Martin shortcut for top end. The music he came out to, my God, they always seem to have this knack of finding suitably jolly / cheesy music. So he came and he got an elimination, I think. Didn't last too long, as you'd expect. I guess other names that came in, so you had Axel Fox, who's done a few the Wheel of Wrestling shows. Just going over Zeritus, had a moment. Of course, Anita Vaughn, Jay Nero. I think that's pretty much about it. But the one, so start with Norman Harris and Tank, who, remember, back in the last year had the open challenge with Robert Dreisk and impressed, but expected defeat. She cleared off ring a few times, was during like the lower card names going in. Again, had they had a women's championship, not to hit yet another the dead horse we've beaten, that could have parlayed into a run for the title, but she's going to be part of Femme Fatale, so you'd expect, or hope that's going to be something hops along. But yeah, it just felt a bit weird how she came in and did, I hate this comparison, but like the China or Rhea Ripley kind of thing of eliminating a load of people early on, compared to Anita Vaughn, who came in and wasn't chucked out straight away, like two vastly different presentations, which it's always good when you're doing that kind of thing, you're doing the intergender, it's not the same copy and paste presentation. I did notice Jacob Crane and Anita Vaughn, so I don't know if they're going to be doing anything with Tagfest, but it looks like Neat has found the next running buddy, I guess, now Yuto's back from injury.
There's a match which I think is probably quite likely. Having seen that, I think there's something that's probably quite likely at Tagfest weekend. Probably not a tournament match, but in my eyes, you get LSG and Ava versus Jacob Crane and Anita. That's something that will happen at some point.
That would make sense. I know one of the oldie shotgun vlogs, they had teased LSG and Leah Bloom as a team. But of course, Leah Bloom now has other fish to fry. So you'd expect that to be some of the, then you've got the whole, and again, and they have kind of tied up loose ends, with the Y2 cuties. Ava and Jacob, they had the split after last year's Tag Festival. So on paper, you can do it to them. It's not like the loose ends of, well, why are you teaming with LSG when Jacob Crane's been your running buddy? So they could well do that. Obviously LSG's been announced, or he's announced himself coming over next month, and you'd expect they'll bleed into that weekend. I don't think Ava has yet, but definitely wouldn't surprise me. But anything else from the shortcut match that jumped out to you, Mike?
Not really. I thought Oku had a very strong performance in it. Obviously, there's never any harm in putting somebody, put an import in there for the long period. But I have to admit, there was a period where I think, there's half a chance he could actually win this. I genuinely, I was surprised to see him eliminated when he did, because I thought he was on a really good run, and I thought it wouldn't have surprised me if he had won.
Yeah, Oku was Oscar did the Agogo exit, pushed out for half crab. Yeah. So Oku would have been the fifth last out, so he just avoided the High Performer Limited stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, he managed to avoid Mike D propelling him out for second year in a run. So small mercies, but so Peter Tahani now in High Performer Limited, and I guess to address the title of this episode, you look at the hirings of this, the roster change, for one better word, not High Performer Limited. You've lost Tristan Archer recently. Baby Alson went out. You've got Fennec and you've got Anil Marek, but you've now got Icarus and Peter Tahani in. For those over you in England, watch Running Fools and Horses, it's Strigga's Broom. It's still High Performer Limited, but they've changed the handle, they've changed the Broom. It's still the same thing, but the makeup is very different to what it was even 3 months ago.
Yeah, and it's the other thing is, I think there is the unresolved situation with Tristan Archer. I know he's on the no compete clause, should we say? Cool, that's difficult.
Yeah, pretty safe,
he's is there room for him to come back at Tagfest? Do we know how long the no compete is? That's a curious thing. You've also got the Allison sort of fallout. You've got Anil Marek, who was the first member, and he's kind of always every single week, it seems, somebody new comes and just pushes him to the back again. I feel like there's room there. Yeah, it's interesting. I think Oscar, sorry, Icarus and Tihani there's potential with that as a team. Did you see the post from Joseph Fenech?
The one about
where he says my check hasn't been paid or something.
Mm-hmm. But the Nottingham Forest stuff again. I mean, this is the thing. Like, you go through that kind of turnover, and it was Tag Fest last year where the Joseph Fenech Jr. character first debuted. He turned on Nigel Blanc. It was day 2, then it's day 3. He came out as Fenech, and the whole, teasing joining the group. That's another character that never really got going again with injury.
Yeah,
because you think again, I'm trying to look at the timelines. Fennec, he picked up a knee injury in the Body's Eye in May. So he missed all of May, but unfortunately that kind of tied with when WXW's shed went a bit weird. Yeah, Joseph Fennec Jr. Not counting the Erfurt tape house show, he's not been in. He's not had a match in WXW, beg pardon, since 16 Karat Gold Revenge in Frankfurt back in March. So that's we're now going to be looking September before Batch Cap for Bielefeld. That's half a year missed.
Yeah.
He has been working elsewhere.
For me, as a repackage, I just don't think it works. But
No,
I don't know.
It's not been the kind of thing that's really landed. I mean, just scrolling where he is working elsewhere. Banger Zone. God, I hate that name. It's still a sense of alto. He's still doing the same in when he's worked for GWF in Berlin. He's worked Pro Wrestling Holland under the Sense of Alto name. Really, it's only been WXW and APC
Where he was working
where he's working that before. So yeah, to me, it's the whole thing of maybe no, because he's had he's pretty much had for 6 months out. But I don't get do you go back to the Sense of Alto Act because that kind of really ran its course, or do you do the Joseph Fennick Jr. thing but for Lone Wolf, but just on his own? Because to me, the Lone Wolf Joseph Fennick Jr. never really worked as part of a group. Because the whole reason he split from Igel Blanc was he was fed with being let down in his eyes by his partners. So of course it makes sense to join a group with more partners to let you down. But again, that'd be one worth keeping. And again, if he does turn one way or the other, you've got an easy set of matches to go through. Anil Marek, of course, Icarus. And if he does win the belt, and I have a strong suspicion he is going to at Tag Festival, Peter Hanya, well, that again may not be seen by some as a top level feud, but certainly if they do that split, you've got 3, very straightforward matches. Plus, whoever the hell else, not the first Performer Limited sign in the next few months. I'm sure he's got a stockpile of T-shirts there with names on, but. So I was shortcut at the top, well worth time, of course, on WXW Now on Triller TV Plus, as we said at the top. Just a few news bits. Of course, Walter Gunther won the WWE World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam. Initial defense, of course, is going to be in Berlin, except it's against Randy Orton. Yeah, well, at least you can watch the Ilya matches. They'll be based on the Saudi match the two had. A few confirmations for Tag Festival, so back from last Shotgun blog, there's a whole thing from Icarus over, well, Amboss had a spot in Tag Festival. Amboss doesn't exist, so I keep the spot. The High Performer Limited team is going to be Icarus and Joseph Fennick Jr. Anil Marek, he'll get a shot one day. Probably won't be in this group. Cash and Hector are in by way of their victory at Shortcut, and Oscar and Yuta Nakashima are in. So that means we've now got 9 teams. And based on that, we're going to be looking at maybe 12-team tournament leading to the three-way final if they do a cut and paste of last year. At least we've got past 8 teams, so we're not going to be going about, is someone going to be out? What's the format going to be? They've kind of now pointed that way. It's going to be at least more than an 8-man block. As far as Femme Fatale, we've got a couple of names. Jane Neal was added to Femme Fatale today. Ayame Sasamura was added a few weeks back. She's been working in Japan since 2017, mostly for Active Advanced Wrestling, tag team belts in Seedling with all the ends, and World Women Pro Wrestling Diana. Had a brief run in Sendai Girls as their junior champion about 4 years ago. So someone with a fair amount of experience there. And again, can't hurt, bear in mind, some of the names that have been announced. I wouldn't say there's too much experience there, but no matches to be announced yet for that. What we have got matches announced for, we've got 4 announced here. So the big one was announced a few weeks back for Inner Circle, and this absolutely popped up on the train home from work. Main event, Inner Circle, 15, 16, whatever number it is, Thursday, October 2nd at the WXW Wrestling Academy in Gelsenkirchen. Timothy Thatcher returning to WXW to take on Fuminori Abe. Yes, please.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be
that's what they always need to do. So, what's that?
I'll be in the queue nice and early just to make sure I get that spot ringside, because that is going to be one you don't want to miss.
Exactly. No, yeah, no. I just saw that and I was like, hell yeah. That's all we need. That's all we need.
All I will say is for ticket sales for Inner Circle picked up since then. I don't know if it's down to like the last half dozen or anything like that, but definitely it's a lot. No, that spurred on a few ticket sales. Main event of Night One Tag Fest we touched on earlier. It's the shotgun title three-way. Lavaniel defending against Hur and Matt Cardona. And then we got two matches announced for the Progress Noah Defy show on the Saturday afternoon. From Noah, it's Axel Tischer against Naomichi Marufuji, while Progress are putting up Timothy Thatcher against Luke Jacobs in what will be a Progress title defense. Should Luke still have that belt by the time we get to Oberhausen in October. So two pretty decent matches there. No Axeman's been really hyped about the Marufuji one. See what else comes. I mean, like I say, we're 6 weeks away, and you'll be expecting a lot more matches to be announced because there's a lot of wrestling to be done over that weekend.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more.
And a couple of heads up if you are going over. So the Mindestfester, the minimum entry to the Turbine Hall, that's apparently gone up from 6 to 8 euros for an evening show. Although
so that's when
say again.
That's when you go in. You have to buy €6 worth of bonds.
Well, 8 now, yeah. Although they did put the prices up. It was a Tag Fest last year, so basically it's still 2 drinks worth you're getting anyway. But yeah, just bear that in mind. Although I think you can pay by card now, so it's not like you're carrying shrapnel in your pocket like you used to back in the day. And I guess another warning or friendly reminder: if you are thinking of going to Tag Fest, particularly from the UK, you may want to make plans now because I know, Mike, you, from the last few times we've recorded, you've been talking about the plans.
Yeah.
The flights and the hotels, they are not cheap. I suspect it's maybe the hangover from the Euros. They don't really want to be seen. With gouged people.
I suspect, yeah.
But yeah, so I had a quick look, and if you're just doing your Thursday for Inner Circle, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 4 nights, plus the flight, you're looking at anywhere upwards of 900 quid, which is absolutely absurd considering the carrot, your hotels, you're looking at about 300 quid max for the same 4 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got a feeling this is probably going to be one, if you haven't booked in advance, you're probably going to be sat at home watching on Trill or WXW now. But if you are going, just be aware it's going to be a little bit richer than usual, just in terms of the airlines and the hotel companies looking to get their pound of flesh back from the Euros, and cost of living from everywhere else going up. So just a friendly reminder: if you're looking, don't buy tickets before you get your flights, because I think you were looking. What was the route you saw? It was like almost as cheap to go from London to Dusseldorf by Dublin.
Yeah. I've actually only just booked my stuff recently. Look at your alternative routes, is what I'd say. You can still go to Cologne quite easily. Cologne is perfectly reasonable to get to the area. It's only, it's 40 minutes further away from Düsseldorf, so it's an hour and a half sort of commute rather than a half-hour commute, but it's fine. If you are going to Cologne, you can fly from Stansted at a reasonable price still. So that would be my advice if you are going. If you're going from Ireland, it's still just normal price. So yeah, that's
just the hotel you haven't to stump up for.
Yeah, the hotels are ridiculous, but yeah, unfortunately, they've had to they don't have to put the prices that high, but they just are. I think another thing is on the Sunday, Alice Cooper is playing at the König Pilsner.
Oh, lovely!
So I'm considering going actually still.
That might have had something to say, because I'm just looking now on Expedia, and you're looking. So this is flights and hotel. You're looking at from £700 for NH, a similar amount from a trip, all the way up to. I'm ignoring like the the Airbnb kind of places, all the way up to something like £1,000 for the Alea, which that's that. Again, if you're going, it's going to be a fair amount more than normal, but yeah, just a friendly warning if you kind of books your tickets first, then plans your transport next, because it is going to sting you. But yeah, so that's Tag Festival. That's again 6 weeks away. Up next with the XW, we've got Wheel of Wrestling 62 in Bielefeld. It's sold out. No matches announced because we're recording this before the Shotgun vlog dropped. So chances are this will be horribly out of date by the time most of you listen to this. And then World Tag Festival season, we've got a preview up on backbodydrop.com with all the teams announced and matches as they go up. Next up for us, though, because we're going to have a month between now and Wheel of Wrestling in Bielefeld, we're going to go back to the archives again. And since he's coming back at Inner Circle, we're going to look at the best of Tim Thatcher and
The best of Tim Thatcher in
into the
WXW.
XW, and we're going to have some very special guests on hand for that one. So keep on, put this on Instagram, Twitter. We'll post some tidbits as we go along. And speaking of, Mike, where can we follow you on the social medias?
On the social medias, I am at Mike Kilby on everything. Yeah, that's everything. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. No, I'm not that on LinkedIn. Don't follow me on LinkedIn.
Don't follow us on LinkedIn, please.
No, that's fine. Well, you can if you want. I don't care. But yeah, I'm Mike Kilby on everything.
You can follow me at Ian Wrestling on Twitter and Instagram. Big Back Body Drop on Twitter, and it's just Back Body Drop on Instagram for photos. You can guess, Back Body Drop on Twitter went long ago. But yeah, that'll do it for another episode. Hopefully, we've managed to edit out all the fireworks with some absolute dipshit let off just after we hit record. I'm off to go and see how the doggos getting on after all those. Thanks again for joining us, Mike, and we'll see you probably next month for the best of Timo. Cheers.
Cheers.